Welcome back. In this lecture, we will discuss some problems related to continuity and differentiability of complex functions. Also, we will derive a necessary condition for checking the differentiability of a complex function fz at a point z. Let us review some definitions. Continuity. A function fz is said to be continuous at z equal to z0 if f of z0 is defined and limit z tends to z0 fz equal to f of z0. The derivative of a complex function f at a point z0 is written as f dash z and is defined by f dash of z0 equal to limit delta z tends to 0 f of z0 plus delta z minus f of z0 by delta z, provided this limit exists. The limit exists means if we choose any path in which the delta z tends to 0, all the limit values must be identical. Then we say that f is differentiable at the point z equal to z0. An alternate definition of differentiability at z0 is f dash of z0 equal to limit z tends to z0 fz minus f of z0 by z minus z0. Here also the limit exists provided for any path in which z tends to z0, all the limits must be same. Consider the problem. Show that the function fz equal to z by z bar for z0 equal to 0 at z equal to 0 is discontinuous at z equal to 0. And from the definition of continuity at a point z equal to z0, the value of limit of z tends to z0 fz must be equal to f of z0. And this limit must exist and the common value is equal to f of z0. Here we are checking the discontinuity at the point z equal to 0. So z0 equal to 0. So we are checking the continuity of the function fz at origin. And according to definition, for checking this existence of limit, we have to evaluate limit of z tends to 0 fz. Limit z tends to 0 fz means when we are approaching to 0 along any path in the complex plane, all the limit values must be identical or it must be unique. Suppose we are approaching to 0 along a straight line passing through the origin. Suppose this is one straight line. Suppose the equation is y is equal to mx, and we can consider different straight line for different slope m. Along the path y is equal to mx, we are evaluating the limit as z tends to 0 fz is equal to limit as x plus iy tends to 0, x plus iy tends to 0. What is fz value? For z tends to 0, for z is not equal to 0, the function value is z by z bar. We can simplify this as x plus iy divided by x minus iy. So this is equal to limit as x plus y along the straight line y is equal to mx. We have y means mx, x plus I into mx tends to 0. This is x plus I mx divided by x minus I mx. So this limit x plus I mx tends to 0 implies this is equivalent to x into 1 plus im tends to 0, where this 1 plus im is a constant, and so this is equivalent to limit as x tends to 0. So we can simplify this quotient by taking x as common factor and cancelling. This will become 1 plus im divided by 1 minus im, that is purely a constant. So that is equal to 1 plus im divided by 1 minus im. That means if you are approaching to 0 along a straight line path with the equation y is equal to mx and having slope m, we get the answer, limit answer as limit as z tends to 0 fz is equal to 1 plus im divided by 1 minus im. And if we change the slope of the straight line, suppose we are approaching to 0 along any other straight line having different slope, we get different answers. So this depends on m. So this limit value depends on m, that means this limit is not unique and hence the limit does not exist. Since the limit does not exist, the function cannot be continuous at z equal to 0. Another question, show that the function fz is equal to 2xy square divided by x square plus 3y raised to 4 for z not equal to 0 and equal to 0 for z equal to 0 is discontinuous at z equal to 0. In order to prove the discontinuity at z equal to 0, here also we are going to evaluate the limit as z tends to 0 f is z. And as before, if all these limit values are identical for any choice of the path in which z tends to 0, if all the answers are identical, then we can say that this limit exists. And the function is also defined at z equal to 0. Here we are considering a proper path as y square is equal to ax. Approaching to 0 along the parabolic path, for example y square is equal to ax, where this a is a parameter, that as this a varies, the focal length changes. So that is a parameter. And why we are choosing this parabolic path instead of the straight line path here? Because if we are substituting for this y square as ax, in the numerator we have x square as a common factor, also in the denominator again we have x square as a common factor, and that will get cancels and the entire expression will reduces to a function of the parameter a. So that is equal to limit z tends to 0 means x plus iy tends to 0. F is z. What is f is z? For z tends to 0. Z tends to 0 means z is neither equal to 0. For z not equal to 0, the form of the function is 2xy square. 2xy square divided by x square plus 3 y raised to 4. Now along the parabolic path y square is equal to ax, this limit value, limit as z tends to 0 f is z, is equal to limit as x plus iy. Y means y is equal to square root of x plus I into square root of x tends to 0. 2xy square. 2xy square means 2x into x divided by x square plus 3y raised to 4. 3 into, what is y raised to 4? Y raised to 4 is a square x square. So as before, we can have the limit as x plus I into root of x tends to 0. It is equivalent to saying that the variable part is x. So this is equivalent to limit as x tends to 0. And cancelling the common x square, the numerator becomes 2a divided by 1 plus 3a square. 1 plus 3a square. So that limit value is equal to the constant 2a divided by 1 plus 3a square. That is, the value of the limit depends on the focal length of the parabola. So this depends on a, hence the limit cannot exist if you are moving to 0 or approaching to 0 along a parabolic path like this. Hence the limit does not exist. Since the limit does not exist, we can say that the function cannot be continuous at z equal to 0. Now consider another question of checking differentiability at a point. Show that f is equal to square root of mod xy is not differentiable at origin. From the definition of differentiability at a point z equal to z naught, we have f dash of z naught means limit as z tends to z naught, f is z minus f of z naught divided by z minus z naught. Whenever this limit exists, we say that the function is differentiable at z equal to z naught. Here we have to check the differentiability at origin. So we are evaluating limit as z tends to 0, f is z minus f of 0 divided by z. See, as before, if you are approaching to 0 along any path in the complex plane in the neighborhood of z equal to 0, all the limit must give the same answer. Considering the straight line path y is equal to mx, along which we are approaching to the point 0. So this is equal to, so if you are approaching to 0 along the straight line path, then x plus iy tends to 0. F is z. What is f is z value? F is z value is square root of mod xy, square root of mod xy divided by z, that is x plus iy. So substituting for y as mx, that is x plus I mx tends to 0, square root of x into mx modulus of square root of mod x into mx divided by x plus I mx. So this limit is equivalent to the variable is x, so this is limit as x tends to 0. Cancelling one x as common factor from numerator and denominator, so this becomes square root of absolute value of this slope divided by 1 plus Im. As we are moving to 0 or approaching to 0 along any different straight line having different slope m, we get different answers. So the different answers are square root of mod m divided by 1 plus Im, because this limit depends on the slope of the straight line m, depends on m. This limit does not exist. That is, limit as z tends to 0, f z minus f of 0 divided by z cannot exist at origin, or we can say that the function is not differentiable at origin.
Cauchy-Riemann equations. The Cauchy-Riemann equations are the most important equations in complex analysis. They provide a criterion for the analyticity of a complex function w is equal to f z equal to u of xy plus I v of xy. Cauchy-Riemann equations are a set of first order partial differential equations ux equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx. Necessary condition for analyticity. Theorem. Let f is equal to u of xy plus I v of xy be defined and continuous in some neighborhood of a point z equal to x plus ay and differentiable at z itself. Then at that point the first order partial derivatives of u and v exist and satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equations ux equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx. Hence, if f is analytic in a domain D, those partial derivatives exist and satisfy ux equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx at all points of D.
By your assumption, the function f is differentiable and f dash z exists. That means f dash z is equal to limit as delta z tends to 0 f of z plus delta z minus f z the whole divided by delta z exists. So this limit exists or the function is differentiable at any point z means for any choice of the path in which we are approaching to 0, that means this delta z tends to 0, all the limit values must be identical because the function, it is given that the function is differentiable. Here we are going to choose two different paths along which this delta z tends to 0, and we get two values for the f dash z, and since the uniqueness of the limit, if it exists, we can compare the real and imaginary parts of the two complex numbers obtained as the limit as delta z tends to 0 f of z plus delta z minus f z by delta z, and these two complex numbers must be identical, and by equating the real and imaginary parts of that complex numbers we can find the two partial differential equations called the Cauchy-Riemann equations. Here we are going to choose the two different paths like this. Suppose this is our set, this point is our set, then the increment value, that is z plus delta z, may be any complex number in the neighborhood of that set. Suppose we are choosing the position of z plus delta z here, that is z plus delta z. Now as the increment delta z is very small, this z plus delta z can approach to 0 along any path in the complex plane. Here we are choosing two different paths like this. Suppose this is the first path and this is the second path. This bolded path is path number 1 and this is our path number 2. So we have delta z is equal to delta x plus I delta y. If you are moving along the first path, that means if you are first moving vertically downwards, then which is changing, only delta y is changing, and finally at this position delta y becomes 0, and if you are moving parallel to this real axis, then delta z becomes delta x. Similarly for the second path, first delta x tends to 0. Delta x tends to 0 means first delta x tends to 0 and at this position this delta x equal to 0, and then moving vertically downwards, then delta z becomes I delta y. The form of f z as, what is f z? F z is equal to u plus iv, that means a function u of xy plus I into v of xy, and our delta z becomes delta x plus I delta y. So we can rewrite this limit as f dash z equal to limit delta x plus I delta y tends to 0, f of z plus delta z. F of z plus delta z means u of x plus delta x comma y plus delta y plus imaginary part plus I into v of x plus delta x, v of x plus delta x comma y plus delta y. So this is the value of f of z plus delta z minus f z. F z means u of xy plus I into v of xy, the whole divided by delta z, that is delta x plus I delta y. Now collecting the u terms and v terms separately, we can rearrange this as in equation number 1. We are going to evaluate the limit as delta x plus I delta y tends to 0 or delta z tends to 0 along the first path. Along the first path, first we are setting this delta y tends to 0. First delta y tends to 0 and then delta x tends to 0. After delta y becomes 0, and if you are moving along the straight line path, along the path parallel to the real axis, then delta z becomes delta x. Delta z becomes delta x. So for the first path, what is the value of f dash z? F dash z equal to this delta z becomes delta x only. So this delta x tends to 0. Delta x tends to 0. U of x plus delta x comma y, because that delta y part 0, minus uxy. This is the u terms plus I into, what are the v terms? I into v of x plus delta x comma y minus v of xy, the whole divided by delta x. Separating the real and imaginary parts, we can rewrite the limit in this format. And what is the first limit? Limit as delta x tends to 0. U of x plus delta x comma y minus u of xy divided by delta x means, see, this is the rate of change of the function to variable function, say u. And because this limit exists, because the function is, it is given that it is differentiable. It is differentiable means the corresponding partial derivatives exist. So this is the partial derivative of u with respect to x plus I into the second part is partial derivative of v with respect to x. So the one value of f dash z, if we approaching delta z tending to 0 along the first path, we get one expression, we call it as equation number 2. Similarly, if this delta z tending to 0 along the second path, that means first we are setting first delta x tends to 0, then delta y tends to 0, and after that delta x is equal to 0, then delta z becomes, what is delta z? Delta z is equal to delta x plus I delta y, and after this delta x is equal to 0, this delta z becomes I delta y. For the second path, f dash z is equal to, for the second path, this delta x equal to 0 and delta z becomes I delta y. So this is limit as I delta y tends to 0 or delta y tends to 0. Delta y tends to 0. This is u of x comma y plus delta y minus uxy plus I into v of x comma y plus delta y minus vxy, the whole divided by I delta y. We can split it into real and imaginary parts, that is collecting u terms, u of x comma y plus delta y minus uxy, the whole divided by I delta y plus I into limit delta y tends to 0, v of x comma y plus delta y minus vxy divided by I delta y. We can remove the constant 1 by y outside, and then what is the remaining limit? Limit as delta y tends to 0. Change of rate of change of u with respect to y, and because this limit exists, because the function is differentiable, this is the partial derivative of u with respect to y. So this is 1 by I into uy plus, here we can cancel the constant I, and the second limit is limit as delta y tends to 0. V of x comma y plus delta y minus vxy divided by delta y is the rate of change of the function v with respect to the variable y. Also that limit exists, so this is the partial derivative of v with respect to y. So we have another value for f dash z if we choose the second path. So f dash z is equal to ux plus I vx, and another value is f dash z equal to 1 by I. 1 by I, we can replace this 1 by I as minus I. 1 by I as minus I into ui plus vy. So this is our equation number 3. Since it is given that the function f z is differentiable at z, the two different values for this f dash z must be identical. Hence from equations 2 and 3, these two values of derivatives must be identical. That is ux plus I vx is equal to minus I into ui plus vy. So two complex numbers are identical, and we know that two complex numbers are equal if and only if their corresponding real parts are equal and imaginary parts are equal. So equating real and imaginary parts, we have ux is equal to the real part of the left hand side equal to what is the real part of right hand side? It is vy. Ux equal to vy, and uy is equal to minus vx. So that is a standard format. So these are the Cauchy-Riemann equations for checking differentiability.
A sufficient condition for analyticity of a complex function. Theorem: if two real valued continuous functions u of xy and v of xy of two real variables x and y have continuous first order partial derivatives that satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equations in some domain D, then the complex function f is equal to u of xy plus I v of xy is analytic in D. That means a complex function simply satisfying the Cauchy-Riemann equations need not be analytic. It must also satisfy the continuity of the first order partial derivatives of the functions u of xy and v of xy.